Welcome to Too Many Tabs, a podcast where a husband and wife duo are tired. So very, very tired. We're exhausted, y'all, but we're here to answer some questions.
Yeah.
Because this is a very special episode. Usually one of us will do research on a topic, but today our listeners and our Patreons especially have asked us to research ourselves, to look inside of our own souls. And they have presented us with a series of questions that we are going to answer for you, not quite live, pre-recorded.
We've gone into the void and we've come back with some answers.
Exactly. I think that's the best way to put it. We've gone deep. And how deep have we gone? Well, we've gone deep into the too many tabs that are our souls.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.
Let's go. We're here.
We're here, all right?
He's saying we're tired, but some of us drank way too many iced coffees.
Okay, and some of us might be Dayquil maxing again.
Yeah.
Some of us are Dayquil maxing again.
Some of us are really drinking a lot of Dayquil.
Yeah,
It's starting to be concerning.
Because I've been caught on planes, not trains, but Hilton Airport shuttles.
Yeah.
It has been a whole thing. I just returned from VidCon.
How was it?
It was amazing. But before I tell everybody about VidCon, let me tell them where I will be. Because we have some big shows coming up where I'm going to be traveling again. And hopefully this time, American Airlines won't literally shit the bed and it may cause all my issues. July 11th, I'm going to be in Austin, Texas. San Diego, I'm coming to you on July 21st. And Atlantic City, New Jersey. I will definitely be there because it's a short drive and not a flight. August 2nd. But we're really looking forward to all those things. All those links will be down there in the description of the episode.
Yeah.
We're so excited. We're so excited. But yeah, I just returned from VidCon.
How was it?
It was so great. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that you become mutuals with when you're in this creator space that you end up like messaging over time, or like, you comment on their video and then they comment back and then you both follow each other and then like you meet them in person and they are exactly like they are online. It's actually crazy. So there's this thing that happens with early YouTubers and TikTok people are very much their personality, but Instagram people and later YouTubers are fake.
Okay.
Now, obviously, take that with a grain of salt. This is coming from a TikToker. But like people like me, we started making TikToks. We're like, whatever, I have a day job. I'm just going to make this fun little thing. And then it went viral, and then it kept going viral. I guess now this is what I do.
Yeah.
Same thing with early YouTubers, especially like pre-2011.
Yeah.
Before like the ads really took off and all these different things. A lot of people were just like, yeah, I'm just making my fun little videos.
I'm just going to open these gifts.
Yeah, just that type of thing.
I'm just kidding.
That's it?
Well, no, that little kid that opened.
Oh, yeah, Ryan's World.
Ryan's World.
I did not meet him.
Ryan's World was like, I'm sorry, who are you?
Yeah. Yeah. If I met Ryan's World, the security would not let me pass. It was very, very interesting though, because I would say that I was a personality invite. And then there was all these other people
You were a personality hire?
I was a personality hire versus, so at one point I actually brought swim trunks with me. I did. I brought swim trunks with me. And there was two pools.
Yeah.
One of them had a DJ next to them. So I wasn't going to use that pool.
Okay.
By the way, there were DJs everywhere.
Yeah.
When we're at, because they have this like exclusive hotel that has like max security because they don't want crazy people getting in. So it's just people who are invited to VidCon. And but they had these different lounges, right? So like YouTube had a lounge, Instagram had a lounge, Sound Exchange had a lounge by the pool.
What's Sound Exchange?
I don't know. They tried to make me download an app. They were like, we'll give you a free t-shirt if you download an app. And I was like, no, I went to college in the early 2000s. This is how I end up with credit card debt. But I found that there was a secret pool on the third floor in the back.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, there's a secret pool.
No DJ.
No DJ. It's quiet. I went up there surrounded by like 20-year-old Greek gods.
Oh, okay.
Because it's all the TikTok dancers and the beauty influencers and all that. And I was just like there with my pasty Pennsylvania dad body. And my flowery swim trunks.
Yeah.
And I was like...
That we got at a wholesale store?
Yeah, that we got at Costco.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't don't fit in here. And so I did not swim in the pool. That was actually the only time I let my actual like imposter syndrome type of deal take over. I was like, I'm 40 and these are children gods. These are child gods. And they all were like listening to the music and they were dancing. They were doing the dances. And I was like, I don't know what any of this is.
Yeah.
And I was immediately embarrassed of the trousers I was wearing. I started calling my pants trousers.
You're so old.
They made fun of my trousers. But it was really cool. Like I got to meet like all the Try Guys.
Yeah.
At one point, Zach from the Try Guys, I like, can I get a selfie with you? And he was like, you're collecting us like Pokemon, aren't you? And I was like, yes. I danced with Quasi.
I'm so jealous.
I know. He was so cool. He like pointed at me. We were at the TikTok party. He pointed at me and then we did that hand grip thing.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of bounced up and down together. He was so cool. Quasi was the best. Keith was very nice from the Try Guys. I met both of the Green brothers, both Hank and John. Hank, exactly as he is in every piece of video you've ever seen.
Yeah.
John, acerbic.
Okay.
I think is the best way to put it. He was gruff.
Yeah.
But he was also just like, we have a schedule to keep.
It's okay.
That was just kind of...
Relate.
He was always just like, every time I saw him, he was like, we're late. Every time. And he wasn't talking to me. He would just walk into a room and yell, we're late, and then leave.
I deeply relate to that.
Yeah, there was just a lot of people. I posted Instagram with the part one are all the people I hung out with, though, that I feel friendly with now. I feel more than just acquaintances.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like
collabs in the future.
Hopefully. We'll see. We'll see. But it was really cool. And it was just like really, really neat. And I had such a good time. And then it ended.
Yeah.
It was weird to be there across the country as things like the debates happened and other news kept dropping. And I was, multiple time zones away from you with my thoughts. And
How'd that go?
Well, I had a lot of vodka cranberries.
Yeah. Yeah.
That helped suppress the thoughts.
Okay.
A little bit.
Sure.
And then I'd wake up and then I'd have more thoughts.
Oh, no.
And I would call you and then you would say things to me like, hey, maybe just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That did happen multiple times. And so then
I was like, have you considered there's other things happening in our lives?
have you considered maybe going to the convention you're at?
Yeah.
Just walk around the convention you're at.
Go talk to other humans, I said.
Let me tell you the absolute best.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I really went into much of the meet and greet.
Okay.
So they did a meet and greet for me,
Yeah.
right? And the thing is when I've been doing stand-up, and if you guys come see me do stand-up on July 11th in Austin, Texas, or July 21st in San Diego, I will do a meet and greet afterwards. So we'll do a photo line, and I love to say hi to everybody. I've met a lot of the Patreons, a lot of the podcast listeners that way. But they were like, hey, do you want to do a meet and greet at VidCon? And I said, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care. Like, I have nothing to do on a Saturday at 1 p.m. I'm just kind of trapped in Anaheim. So I went there to go do this, and I thought I was going to have a booth because they said you're in booth 124.
Okay.
It is not a booth. It is a piece of carpet.
Okay.
In the middle of the floor.
All right.
With a step and repeat, which is just one of those big banners that just says VidCon all over it,
Yep.
like repeating. Those are called a step and repeat, apparently. I've been informed.
I've built a few of them in my life.
So I've been informed that. And they gave me a security guard. The security guard who walked me over, super nice.
Yeah.
We were talking, and at one point, he was like, I mentioned how I missed my kid. And he's like, oh, how's your kid? I'm like, my kid's 6 months.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, my kid's your age. I'm like, your kid's 40? And he's like, you're 40? You look great.
Oh,
and I was instantly
best friends.
I was like, you're the man. I love you. I'm like, how do you end up being a security guard? He's like, I used to be a cop. I was like, ACAB. And then they put me in front of the step and repeat. And then I talked to the other security because they gave me new security guards now.
Well, yeah, he has to be removed from you.
Yeah, the other one had to go walk away. And the new ones, they worked for Allied Universal. And the thing is, I actually used to work for that security company way back in the day, back when it was called Allied Barton. So I strike up a conversation with them like, hey, I used to work when that was called Allied Barton. And the older security guard immediately was like, oh my God, you used to work with them years ago.
Yeah.
And we start chatting, we start talking about our kids and all this different stuff. Meanwhile, time is passing and no one is walking up to me.
Yeah.
No one wants to get a picture with me. I'm like, it's fine. I just have to stand here for 45 minutes. But then people start approaching and we're like, great. And the security guard's like, and they ask the security guard a question. I'm kind of standing at the distance and I hear the security guard say the following sentence. This is his meet and greet time. You can't just stand in front of there and take a picture unless he's in it. Because it was this dad and his daughter who just wanted to do like, hey, I'm fancy. I've never been in front of a step and repeat. I want to pretend I'm an influencer. And she was like, no, unless Alexander is in the picture, because she did not know I was Pearlmania500. She had no shit about me. But then eventually, like, people started to notice I was over there, and like random people stopped and took my picture. and I got to chat with people for a bit. I would say overall, like over that 45 minutes, it was about like 25 or 30 people came through.
Did that dad come back?
To do the picture with his daughter? Maybe later. I don't know.
I just pictured them waiting like as the clock was going.
He did look at his watch and he was like, that's going to be 25 minutes, babe. Let's just keep moving. But yeah, I got to meet like people from Save the Children, a bunch of other organizations like that. A ton of my mutuals. And the biggest thing was just proving to people that I'm not a screaming psychopath.
Yeah.
That was like, honestly,
it's hard because people see you as a
screaming,
specific,
screaming psychopath. That's typically what goes viral, and those are the videos that do really well.
And then the comments go, "Why is this guy always yelling?"
Because you only see the videos where I'm yelling. You don't listen to the podcast where I'm talking in a calm manner to my wife. So
sometimes you yell.
When I did yell was when I was at LAX, the Los Angeles airport, when we discovered that I was going to be so late for my show in Phoenix, Arizona. That we had to cancel, and I want to apologize to everyone out there for that. It was above us at that point. I still ended up having to fly to Phoenix because there were so many cancellations that there was no way to reroute. So I still ended up flying to Phoenix, Arizona, landing, getting a room at the Phoenix Airport Hilton.
Okay.
Amazing.
Lovely
place. I just want to throw this out there, honestly. If you're ever in the Phoenix area and you need one room for one night and you're at your bottom, your absolute bottom, go to the Phoenix Airport Hilton, okay? Off of, I think it's 47.
Sure.
It's amazing. There's a free complimentary shuttle.
Wow.
There's a pool.
Oh.
The restaurant bar is open till 10 p.m. and I got the street tacos. Y'all, there was a moment when I called Mrs. P. I FaceTimed her, and I was like, I'm having dark thoughts. And she was like, go eat.
Yeah.
And I went down to the bar and I'm like, and I saw these street tacos. I was like, how are the street tacos? Guys, like, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
So I ordered them. Within one street, they gave me 4. The first one, I was fixed. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go swim.
You know what it was? Because you were in LA, and so you didn't have any delicious foods.
Yeah. That was the other thing, is they don't really feed you well at VidCon. There's like little foods here and there.
Yeah.
So like I met up with a friend of mine, came to visit me at one point, who's from Philadelphia, and we went to Buca de Beppo.
Got that big old meatball.
We got that big old meatball, and then we just talked so much shit on people. Like just so much shit on people that we haven't talked to in years. But anyway, but after I ate the street taco, you know what I did? I went swimming because I didn't give a shit what people in Phoenix, Arizona thought about me.
Well, there were no 20-year-old dudes with six-packs.
No, but there was, I think, like a cheerleading squad that was flying to an event because I waited until they were done using the pool. I was like, I'm not hopping in the pool with the like high school cheerleaders.
Yeah, it's bad.
But I ran out of shirts, right? And this is important. This is actually very important. I ran out of actual clean shirts, and I had a backup shirt that I wanted to wear on the plane ride back. Because I originally didn't plan to have this extra day. And it was so hot in Phoenix that I had sweat through my first shirt. So I was like, no, I'm out. The only shirt I had to wear to walk around the lobby was a free T-shirt I got from YouTube.
Okay.
That said Team YouTube All-Stars, and it's a soccer shirt. And they customized it. So they put on the back, they wrote Pearlmania on the back of it. Like where your name would be on like a soccer jersey. I was wearing that. Somebody spotted me and made a TikTok about it. And they were like, but they didn't like video me, but they were like, a certain TikTok celebrity is here at the hotel I'm at. And like all of the comments are tagging me, and they're like, well, he was wearing his Team YouTube shirt with his name on. I guess he wanted to be spotted. I was like, no, I was out of shirts.
Yeah.
I didn't want to wear that at the airport.
Also, just hear me out.
Just say hi.
No, not even that. Just don't make videos about someone's location.
Yeah.
How about that?
That would be great.
How about, I was pretty nervous when I saw that.
Yeah. And also, let me follow up by that. Just say hi.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, just say hi. Whenever you see somebody and you're like, I think hey, are you so-and-so? Yep. Can I take a selfie? I'd rather you not right now. Oh, okay. That's it. That's what happens when you ask a question.
Yeah.
But like I would have.
Instead of making a TikTok that is like, this is where he's staying.
Here's the exact location of where he's sleeping.
Listen.
I watched him go up
I
to
like
the
how
fourth
I get
floor.
mad immediately.
I know.
I'm like immediately mad. I'm like,
yeah. Instead, I was just like, whatever.
You're just like, I'm trying to get in this pool.
I'm just, by the way, hottest pool I've ever gotten into in my time. It was 107 degrees when I got to Phoenix, Arizona. I'm gonna
Why do you keep saying Arizona?
Because it's a fun little joke.
Arizona iced tea cans are delicious.
Yes, they are.
Do you want to get this episode started?
We should get that episode started. So that's why I want to start out.
That way we can talk about the enemies that we met at VidCon.
Then all the controversy. Last thing I want to say, this episode is a week behind because we did have a technical issue last week.
We literally had the worst 48 hours.
It was terrible. And then I came home and I held my child and I told you to back the fuck up. I walked in, grabbed the baby, and I said, "You go away now."
Yeah, nobody said hi to me.
Yeah.
Me, trapped at home for all, like, what, 6 days?
Yeah, you were 6 days with the baby.
And I'm
then
just like, ugh.
I erupted through the front door.
Kicked in the door.
Yeah.
Pushed the dog out of the way.
Yeah,
Give me the baby.
The dog tried to salute me like I was a soldier returning from war.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, "Thank you for your service." Like, get the fuck out of the way, dog.
Give me the baby.
Give me that baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
And then when we return,
we got questions from the Patreon.
And we have answers.
And we got answers.
For all of the listeners.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Hit me with your first shot.
Well, just to be clear, I have all the questions.
You have all the. I have no questions in front of me.
I have all the questions. I'm going to ask them to
pen.
both of us. These are the questions that were posted on the Patreon.
Yep.
I went through and I picked the ones that I think are going to be the best.
Okay.
Because, we only have a limited amount of time, and sometimes, I don't want to say it who, can be long-winded.
Yep. Also, you went back and you listened to the prior Q&A.
I did. It's so weird listening to myself.
Yeah.
I am not used to it. Even how long have we been doing this now? Over a year?
Yeah, it's been like a year and a half.
I really listening to myself. I did put us on 2x speed.
Yeah.
So
but you told me you went through and listened to the entire Q&A to make sure we didn't have any repeats.
Yeah, no repeats.
So always go back to the other one. Your question may have already been answered in that one. So
actually, I listened to it and I said we did great.
We did do good.
It was really funny.
Honestly, we're entertaining people.
We are?
We're very interesting.
I like that about us.
Yeah.
Is our self-confidence?
Let's go with the first question now.
So the first question is,
okay.
What are some dream guests that you'd like to have on the show, alive or dead, because why not?
Alive or dead? I'll start by saying Cleopatra.
Cleopatra. Okay, that's pretty specific.
So Cleopatra I find is very interesting because everything we know about her has only been written by her enemies.
Yeah.
So because she was with Mark Antony and they were enemies of Caesar Augustus, and so like everything we know about her is just like shit talking.
Yeah.
So like imagine if Taylor Swift wrote Kim Kardashian's biography.
Yeah.
That's what we have. So it'd be really neat to meet her. She was also like, she was the last pharaoh. She spoke all those different languages. She has that connection to Alexander the Great because through the Ptolemies, like all this different stuff. I think she'd be like fascinating.
Yeah.
Living, completely still alive though. Let me think about that one and you go ahead and give me yours.
Let's see. For people that have passed away, who would be interesting? I think Anthony Bourdain would be incredibly interesting.
Yeah, he'd be cool.
I think Grace Kelly. I would love to ask her about, what that was like.
Yeah.
Marrying a prince and then just being trapped in a castle. John Brown would be really
they'd be really cool.
Yeah.
He would be screaming a lot.
I know, we need that. We need to keep that energy
be in
with
the
us.
background like, I have a sword.
We could do our podcast live from Harper's Ferry with him.
That would be cool.
Whitney Houston.
Yes.
I would love to talk to her.
You know what? I know who I would pick would be alive.
Who?
Dolly Parton's husband.
Yes.
Because no one's ever interviewed him.
Nope.
There's like 2 pictures of him in total. There's one of him like the 1960s, and I think they have one from like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
She more recently released. But like he has been a famous person's spouse this entire time and knew to shut the fuck up. Like he shut the fuck up.
Somebody should tell Simone Biles' husband about it.
Listen, let me tell you. I would love to just like pick his brain, just find out what that's like. Like, does she just keep you in a mansion? Like,
is there like a group chat for like him and Stedman? Like the silent husbands?
The silent husbands
the
who
first
don't
husband.
do interviews.
What's his name? The second first husband.
Oh, you're talking about Doug Emhoff?
Yeah.
Kamala's?
Kamala's husband.
I met him.
Yeah.
Yeah, boring as fuck.
That's the key.
That's what I mean.
That's
like,
the key.
Are all of you guys just boring?
Yes.
Or like, because they're always like connected to these like very powerful, like outgoing women. So yeah, for me, it would be Dolly Parton's husband. I can't remember his name. It's
Carl.
Carl.
Yeah.
Exactly. Carl Parton. That's who I want to meet.
I'm not thinking about anyone alive. I just say no. I'm like,
no, I know
not
you
thinking
are.
about anyone alive.
But also, I would want to know, be like, I have a question. Like when her first record hit, Carl, were you like,
let's fucking go.
let's go. I don't have to. I don't have to dig ditches anymore. Whatever you used to do. I don't know what you used to do. We don't know shit about you.
Nobody knows anything.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
First time she took her wig off in front of you, were you like,
wait a
be
minute.
quiet. She lying to me.
Carl heard those white guy podcasters about how like take her on a swimming date, their first date. And he's like, absolutely not.
Fuck no.
Keep the glitter in the hair on, baby. Whatever you like.
Yeah.
I was thinking like when it comes to producing a podcast, right? So like the idea of like creating funny content, I think that Norm Macdonald would be a great guest.
Yep.
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams would be great. Robin Williams would be an amazing guest. He would never stop though.
Yeah.
Once he starts, he doesn't. What do we already do?
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Okay, next question. Why does Mrs. P hate chiropractors so much? Well, it's not real. That's the first problem. Number 2, they're not really doctors, but they say doctors, but it's not a doctor.
Yeah.
And number 3, I'm actually going to take a deep dive into chiropractor. Is that how you say that? Into chiropractors this August for Quacks Month.
Yep.
For the month of quackery.
Yeah.
I'm bringing it back. Let this be the announcement that Quack Month is back in August.
This August. Everybody's getting quacked to the face.
We're getting... That's okay.
Yeah. It's going to be quackers.
It's going to be a quack attack.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to talk more about chiropractors in August.
Okay.
And go deep dive into why I don't trust them.
Yeah. That's
Suspicious.
a good... Yeah, suspicious.
Okay, so next question says, how much work is it to keep all of us entertained? Next, that I put 2 questions together.
Okay.
How has your approach to the podcast changed since Pearl Babia was born? I know you have to do more cuts and edits and such to take care of little kiddo, but what other things do you think are different with producing the podcast from research to air?
So I would say you and I have argued in the past how long each episode takes because there's the recording, which is generally if you add about a half hour to an hour for what you guys are listening to, that is about the length of a recording.
Yeah.
So if it's like an hour and a half episode, it probably took us about 2 to 2.5 hours to record. The edit is going to add on time on top of that, but the research is where it gets crazy.
Yeah, the research is the most time.
And that's one of the reasons why we actually cut down the length of the episodes because we realized early on in season 1, as we were kind of wrapping up season 1, that we were basically putting out a feature-length documentary every week.
Yeah.
And that got heavy.
With the baby, because the baby's heavy.
And the baby's heavy and all that different stuff. So we've taken a little bit of a step back on that of how much detail we try to go into. But even in that research, because we're very used to going into a lot of detail.
Yeah, it's not that I can stop myself.
Yeah.
I can't. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that the research, I'm like, oh, I don't want to spend too much time. But then I start going into these little rabbit holes and I got 47 tabs open.
Yep.
And it's still a lot of time. So I would say that when the question is like, how much work is it to keep us all entertained? It's like, it's a pretty heavy lift.
I would say
in
general, honestly, between recording everything all together, it's probably about 20 man hours a week. An episode, because I'm also counting the fact that my parents come over to watch, or other family members come over to watch the baby, so they're putting in hours.
Yeah, we
for
tried
us.
to do it with the baby in the room, as you all heard with the giggles, and he's become too powerful.
Yeah, he's too strong.
Number 1, he's too strong. He's actually funnier than both of us.
It's so much funnier.
So he says these jokes. In his little voice. I'm like, wait a minute, we're supposed to be the funny ones.
He has the best timed creaks and farts and just goos and coos. Yeah. Like there's been times where there was one episode where we tried to re-record an intro. It was 5 minutes. He was sitting in Mrs. P's lap. Pearl Baby is sitting in Mrs. P's lap. He is holding a thing. We would get 3.5 minutes in. There'd be a little pause, and he would just look at him and go, good. And I was like, you killing me, dude. And like the way we edit, the way we do things, we do try to keep it in as few takes as possible, with as few cuts as possible.
Yeah.
That has been kind of a mantra because then also like it's just a better episode. That was a big major change though. Is really been just the length of time, I think
you're underestimating. I think it's way more than 20 hours a week.
But also the other thing I'll say though is that we now also because of the baby we pre-record. So we used to like run basically right up until Sunday at 5 p.m., which is our usual drop time. We would be recording right up till that moment.
Yeah.
Like if we couldn't get things done, so now we record Wednesdays after work in the afternoon, when everybody's available. We have a set time. So we're recording this like days in advance now. And then on top of that, there's the video element to it now that we're doing for YouTube. There's, more side of it that we're doing. So there's multiple versions of it that go out. So there's a lot of extra stuff.
Yeah. I think you're underselling how much we do, but I get it.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, it's a lot. And if we try to like look at it in a big, I think the main differences since Pearlmania has been born is I think that I think we both are taking this much more seriously.
Yeah.
Because it's like when we first started that first year, we're kind of like, yeah, let's try this thing out and then see if it works. And like, I'm always the kind of person that throws stuff at a wall to see if it sticks.
Yeah.
And then this stuck. And I was like, well, if we're going to do it, let's fucking do it right.
Let's go.
And so like every month when we sit down and come up with our game plan, that's when we're talking about like, you know what? People are saying we need better microphones. You know what? People are saying they want to see a video. You know what? People are saying this. So listening to feedback, really seeing what fits us best. We want to thank you all for doing the survey. We've been reading the survey stuff. Because like once we saw it stuck, and people really like it, it's like, I know personally, I was like, I'm super motivated to like make the best possible content. Yeah. And so there's a lot of time and work that goes into it, but it's really fun. And I think that's the part that I want to really get across is it's super fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but it's also fun because like you got to remember that I'm still sitting there reading about the Pioneer Woman and looking at her ugly ass crockpots.
Yeah.
And being like, I fucking hate this bitch.
And then
you're photoshopping your picture, and I'm like, graphic design is his passion.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things. That's the reason why I just kind of rounded off to about 20 hours a week for just this thing, plus or minus. I mean, more plus. Yes. You're making the plus face.
Yeah.
But it's fun most of the time.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of work.
So wait, listen. The next question is actually going to be a weird segue. So the next question says, what has been your favorite or least favorite subject to research?
Ooh.
And I think that this can kind of go into like maybe some of the pitfalls of what we've done with this podcast. Because I know exactly which episode is not our favorite.
Yeah.
And change the trajectory of our podcast forever.
Yeah. And that is the Gypsy Rose Blanchard episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
That episode was from last October. Mm-hmm. You were very pregnant.
Yeah.
And it was fucked-tober, and you're like, it's because that's fucked up.
Very popular.
It's a very fucked.
Fucktober was very popular.
But also, you're like, it's a very fucked story, and like, luckily I wasn't recording. If y'all had like my video, because if y'all had seen my face during that, I was very upset by that episode because this is at the end of the day. We do talk about some heavier topics, but for the most part, we try to keep it as a comedy podcast that people are going to listen to while they're working or while they're doing other things, while they're traveling. We really like to have it be a podcast that people can listen with other people. And that episode was just very, 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 very difficult for us to get through. And then after that, you and I now have like general rules of like, we no longer surprise each other with the topic. We kind of ask like, hey, this topic, are you comfortable with this?
Yeah.
Because I was not comfortable with a lot of the things I learned during that episode, especially. And then we had a greater talk about like kind of what the point of this show is and what we're trying to bring light to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It changed the way that we look at content because I know that I'm not a huge, I think I've said this before, I'm not a huge fan of like true crime and stuff like that. I don't find that entertaining to listen to. Mm-hmm. And so being in that kind of area of like a true crimey thing and like it's so hard at the end of the day when I'm writing these episodes and we're doing this, it's like we're trying to bring levity and light to some really tough stories, right? We're trying to bring relief through comedy to tough stories, and it's really hard with the Gypsy Rose Blanchard story. And I think that changed the way that we look at different topics. Mm-hmm. It also changed the way we present them. Yep. We present things a little bit differently after that episode, and I think we made a strong line in the sand with each other about we didn't want to. After we recorded that episode and we slept on it, we both woke up and we're like, we can't monetize that episode. Yeah, we can't 100%. Exploit her the way her parents did. Like, it was just like we had so many feelings after that episode that it really was I think the episode we enjoyed the least, but it had a big impact on our content. So there is a light that came out of it.
But let's flip it to the other side.
Okay.
The ones I'll tell you. So for me, I can't think of ones that I did that I enjoyed the most, like doing the research for. But the ones that you have done, that I've enjoyed the most. Most recently, the Pioneer Woman one boomed me the entire way through. But going all the way back to nearly the beginning, the Better Health episode.
Yeah.
Because you really set a standard in my head of like what we are doing and what we're talking about. Because that episode is so different, and so many people have reached out to us over the years. And there's like a whole thing about it. That's the best way to put it. That's the best way to put it.
That episode has long-standing effects that are still happening in motion, and
repercussions.
You know what? Positive and negative, and I stand by all of them. And I will stand toe to toe with all of the like. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And my favorite episode. You know what? Not episode series. The book club episodes are my favorite.
Yeah.
They are my heart, and I fight for them every day. I'm like, listen, I need time to read a book. I need time to write these book reports. And the hurdles I face with that are like, sometimes I'm reading a book and I'm like, this book is shit, and I have to start over and get a new book.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of work that goes into them, but like the book club is a passion project of mine, and watching it grow and flourish, and people really enjoy it.
And
it brings so much joy.
And the fact that you had to fight me to get it started because I didn't want to do them. Yeah. Okay. Next question.
Wow. Okay. Way to make it weird.
I'm just no. It's one of those things where there's many things that we've done on this show where both of us has come and said, "Listen, we're just doing it. You have to trust me."
Yeah.
And the other person's like, "I don't know, but fine." And this was the book club was I don't know, but fine.
Yeah.
And now here we are.
Yeah.
And now I'm out here stuck reading horny fairy books every couple months.
Yeah.
And it's this is where we are.
I think it might be less that you feel that specific way as you just don't like that I was right.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. I think if you're looking at this on video, the truth is I was right and it was a good idea and people like it. So the next question actually is about book club. It says, would Mrs. P read any romance novels like as a special episode? I get this question a lot. And there is a specific romance novel that has been emailed to me, sent to me through Instagram hundreds and hundreds of times. People really want me to do this one. And I'm not going to spoil it for Mr. Pearlmania over here, but it has to do with a planet that's covered in ice. And there's monsters, and it's a smutty little novel. And so I'm looking into it, and it's going to happen. I don't know when.
Is it Space Ice Road Truckers?
No.
Okay.
But close enough.
Yeah.
And so that book that I'm not going to name because I don't want to give away anything, is on the TBR list. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next, but we're definitely going to do an episode about it.
Okay.
All right. So the next question is, this is the Philly-centric one. We got a lot of Philly-centric ones.
Okay.
I don't want to stay too long here because not all of our listeners are in Philly. Are you really not supposed to look at people in Philly in the eye when you're in public? Question mark.
Okay. But like they're animals at the zoo?
Yes, that's very much that. Making eye contact with strangers. And what are some hints, tips, and tricks to city living that we don't know about?
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to let you take this because I can't wait to hear. I just can't wait. I want to hear it.
Okay.
So the looking the eye thing.
I have strong opinions about the eye contact thing because it's unnerving when you're from the city. Because I spent my whole life wearing invisible.
When you say the city, you mean Philadelphia.
But I also know people from New York, Baltimore, and DC that also don't make eye contact with strangers. So I think it's a city thing.
Okay. That's the reason why I want you to keep saying Philadelphia.
Oh.
Because I've been to other cities now and people make eye contact all fucking day.
Okay. You were in Midwest cities. Those are different.
I was
Those
in West
are
Coast.
nice.
I've been in Midwest. I've been in Northeast. I've been in Southeast.
Been to every major city in the country of the United States.
Okay.
Yeah. We haven't gone into the deep lore of my life, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But there was a point in my life where I was on a traveling show, like a carny that I am.
Yeah.
And I've been to every major city. And the Midwest and the West cities are very different.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to lock in here, though. You just keep saying the city, though.
So, okay. making eye contact with people in Philadelphia is a thing maybe you don't want to do.
Yeah. You can make eye contact with people in Pittsburgh, by the way. Pittsburgh people are fine with it.
It's because we're so used to avoiding eye contact because people on the street could be up to no good. So you don't want to make eye contact or smile because somebody might take that as an invitation to talk to you or fight or ask for money. You just don't. You just wear invisible horse blinders and you don't make eye contact with strangers on the street, which is why when we moved to the suburbs and people would stop and just like say, hey, how are you? I'd be like, what? And I'd grab my purse because I thought somebody was trying to attack me. It's a thing. And then I guess when it comes to hints, tips, and tricks for living in the city, any city, I would say only wear one headphone when you're walking around. Like, don't wear both headphones. Okay, listening to music or podcast. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to hear your peripherals. Somebody running up on you. Yeah, a car coming. I don't know. Just only one earbud.
Yeah, or at that point, just live in a mountain cave.
Okay.
No, I think the biggest thing to me, the biggest hint I would give to moving into a city is like the day you move in, like just say hi to a neighbor or two and get their names and make actual contact with them. Because there's one thing that happens a lot of times. Like one thing that's happened.
Wait, that's like, you're so right. Because on the street, I'm like, don't talk to anybody.
Yeah, but on the block.
But when you move in, you need to know who your neighbors are.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
You need to know, that it's a very good idea. Because here's the thing. If you don't do it in that first week, it's now weird.
Yeah, they're going to think you're weird.
When it's a year later and you're like, oh, hi, I'm your neighbor. It's like, okay, fucker.
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
That's weird.
But I would suggest, I don't mean like go door to door with like a bottle and a fucking pineapple.
No.
I just mean like knock over hey, I just moved in next door. Just wanted to say hi. My name's Alex. And I got a big gun and a dog.
What?
Like, just let them know.
Okay.
What? Just let them know.
That's a weird thing to say.
No, you want to establish dominance with these motherfuckers,
God.
all right? This is Philadelphia we're talking about.
We don't live there anymore.
No, we don't.
Okay, so next question. What are y'all's music tastes? Favorite songs, artists, genres, etc.?
Anything that isn't corporate country.
Pandering music?
Yeah, basically. Like if it's Florida, Georgia line, that's about where I draw the line.
Okay.
I draw it at Florida, Georgia. But that sort of, I call it corporate country. It's very, I got my dog in my truck, but it's not outlaw. Like I love country. Like that's the thing that drives me insane is like, there's a lot of country music I really like, but it's that corporate country. I want to say basically like post Garth Brooks.
He really
in that weird. No, but there's some good Garth Brooks.
Oh,
but
yeah. Remember his alter ego?
Chris Gaines?
Yeah, Chris Gaines.
That's my type of music.
Chris Gaines.
I
like my country music gay. Yeah. I want Orville Peck.
Yeah.
I want Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want your Chapel Roan.
I want Chapel Roan.
Yeah.
I'm really in still to this day dark wave. I want to listen to dark new wave all day long. I want to listen to synth.
I listen to a lot of yacht rock as well. Yeah. I've been playing a lot of yacht rock for the baby.
Yeah, baby loves yacht rock.
Yeah, so it's been more of that. I've been listening to a lot of Womack and Womack right now.
Annie Lennox, Bowie, Fleetwood Mac, Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
I have the Moulin Rouge soundtrack on my iTunes because the Moulin Rouge soundtrack has been with me since high school. I will listen to Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman sing to me.
There's one song I can't listen to, and it was the Hillary Clinton theme song in 2016. That's probably the only song in the world where like you legit, if you play it, I'll like leave the room.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was though. It was the This Is My Fight song.
Is that Katy Perry?
It's not Katy Perry, but it's some other lady that sounds like Katy Perry. But it's like, this is my fight song. Ba-ba-da-ba. Like, they played that ad nauseum.
Her name is Rachel Platten.
Whatever. I feel sorry for her because, like, that song got tied to Hillary Clinton, and they played it so fucking much. And the 2016 DNC was in Philly. And so every place I went to, it's like, and that's also one of those songs that ends up in, like, Target or Best Buy. It's just a song. It's not offensive to most people. So it's just on. So I'll be like at a big box store and I'll realize Fight Song is playing and I'll just leave the cart in the middle of the aisle and leave the store. I can't be around it. I hate that. It's like that's to me, that's the line.
So the next question and the last one for this part.
Okay.
Why do you like DS9 over other Star Trek series, and who is the best character in DS9?
Okay. This is a weird question to ask. Why do I like the best Star Trek?
It's the superior Star Trek.
So the biggest difference with it is Deep Space Nine was the first out of any of the Star Treks to like actually really have the story matter week to week. It's serial it's episodic versus serial. So when I was younger, when it first started and it first aired, I was a Next Gen kid. And when Deep Space Nine started, I watched like a couple episodes. I was like, oh, I don't like this. It was dark. It kept going. I felt like I was missing something. It was about more adult themes, all these things. I wasn't a fan. And it wasn't until Netflix showed up and then I had the chance to actually sit down and watch a bunch of episodes back to back and like read forum posts that were like, no, you need to get to like season 3. You need to learn about the Dominion War. There's these other different things that like happen throughout it. And I actually also found some like watch lists that were like, you can skip these episodes. And I started watching it. And then I really, really got into it. And then when I moved in with Mrs. Pearlmania, she had never really watched Deep Space Nine, but she liked Star Trek. And there was one day I came home from a show and I was hammered and I wanted to put on a very specific episode. It's the one, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's the one where the main character does a bunch of evil shit on purpose to get the Romulans on their side in the war. And Mrs. P is watching it with me and she's like, I don't know why you like this. Everyone, it just seems bad. I'm like, no, but they're doing the opposite of what they've been doing because they're trying to win this war. And she was like, what? Okay, for this to make sense, I need to watch it from the beginning. And I went, what? You want to watch it from the beginning?
Yeah, so we watched all of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, all 187 episodes. And
in one day. No, just kidding.
No, it was over about like a year or two.
Yeah.
But even down to, I got a Deep Space Nine model that I bought on eBay. And at one point, that model was sitting on top of the box that had Mrs. P's engagement ring in it.
Yeah.
So she never moved it because she didn't want to disrupt the model and break it. So Deep Space Nine, the actual space station protected her from ever knowing that I was going to ask her to marry her.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cute.
That was cute. Also, when we did have that conversation, you just like picked up DS9 and kind of just like almost threw it. And
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, like I really loved Next Gen. Lieutenant Commander Data was like my favorite character as a kid. In fact, I have a picture of Brent Spiner up on the wall in this room from when I met him at a convention. And, Deep Space Nine is different. It's different in a lot of different ways. And there was a lot I didn't like about it initially that I really, really love now. And the biggest thing is just like, if you like Star Trek, you love Deep Space Nine. That's just kind of how it goes.
Who's your favorite character?
Who's my favorite character?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character?
Okay, so it's probably Quark. Okay, there's two sides of my brain. There are two wolves that live in me. Okay. One is Quark.
Okay.
And the other is Kira.
Okay.
Like Kira Nerys.
So you either want to make money or fight fascism?
I want to do both.
How can I make money while fighting fascism?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And that's why it's so hard to be inside of my brain.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I am an Aquarius, but every other rising sign is Capricorn. Okay? I want to fight for the good fight, but also Quark.
Yeah. That is actually another thing, too, is that Deep Space Nine has been, like, strangely prescient when it comes to different stuff like that, when talking about occupation, when talking about fascist governments.
Unionizing.
There's a whole episode on unionizing that's amazing.
One of the best episodes.
But yeah, there's so many different things like that in it while also still being Star Trek.
Yeah.
So for me, I would say if I had to sit down and pick an episode based on a character, I would pick probably more Garrick episodes just because I love him as a character.
Good.
But my actual true favorite character, it probably is the space station itself. Just because its location, everything, it's being this last outpost, that the ship itself, the space station itself is its own character.
Yeah.
But then if I had to choose after that, it would be Worf. Because Worf on Deep Space Nine is so different than Worf on Next Gen. It's fucking insane. It's like two separate characters, and you just watch this dude get trucked week after week. And he's such a terrible dad.
Yeah.
And like everything I learned from Lieutenant Commander Data on how to actually be a human being, Worf taught me the opposite on how to be a dad. Like, just, if there's ever a time when I'm ever like, am I being a good dad? I'd be like, I'm not Worf. That's it. That's all you got to know.
And who's that guy that I didn't like for like the first 4 seasons?
Dr. Bashir.
Yeah, Bashir.
You hated Dr. Bashir.
Don't be a Bashir.
Yeah. Until later.
Yeah.
But like, I love Dax. I love both actresses who played Dax.
Yeah.
I loved Odo.
Odo for life.
Obviously Benjamin Sisko, and then the kid who played his son. That was Jake Sisko. Like, listen,
everybody,
all of them.
everybody. Wait, except for O'Brien's wife.
Oh wait, no, Keiko.
Fuck Keiko.
Okay, but actually, we were leaving out the best actress in the whole show.
Who?
The lady who played Kai Wynn.
Kai Wynn.
Because she actually might be the best character. She is top tier evil.
Yeah, she's
and
so
like
good
like
at
to
it.
the point where like I mean she's dead now.
Yeah.
May she burn in hell.
R.I.P. She's not Margaret Thatcher.
No.
She was an actress.
It doesn't matter. She played the part too well. Yeah. She played the part so well that like there's only like she had to. Also, she was Nurse Ratched.
Yeah.
She was Nurse Ratched, and like she's been all these different things. But when the way she plays Kai Wynn is so perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is the Hillary Clinton of characters.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's take a break.
Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we have a lot more questions and a lot more answers. And we're back. Here we are again.
All right,
More
we're going to
questions.
start off with
Okay.
this part with a hard hitter.
Okay.
A big hard hitter.
Why are you smiling so big?
It's a nervous smile if it's anything.
Okay.
Okay. How does Mr. P deal with the pressures of being extremely visible on the internet? How do you deal with trolls? Has it ever affected your mental health?
Oh.
Does Mr. P does it ever bother you when people that only know you from a random TikTok clip decide you're a bad person en masse?
Okay. I feel like these are all leading questions.
All questions are leading because they want an answer.
Yeah. So, I mean, in general, one thing we realized very early on when I had my first bunch of videos go viral on TikTok, and it's the thing I've always thought. Once a video is posted, I'm no longer in control of it. Mm-hmm. Once a thought is out there or a statement that I've made, I'm no longer in control of it. Yeah. I will never be in believing I can put that back into a bottle. Or that cat was a cat out of a bag.
Yeah, sure.
However you want it, the horse out of the stable, whatever it is. Once it's posted, once I hit post, we're done. It's out there. I can see what reaction is to it or any of those different things. The question that this one I know is alluding to is a series of things that happened in, was it late April, early May?
Mm-hmm, May.
With a bunch of people making conspiracy theory videos about me, which are all completely unfounded and bullshit. Mm-hmm. One thing that they did is they took images that I took, pictures I posted to my own personal Instagram. And my own personal.
We found secret footage
on
from his public profile.
My public profile picture on every app is me standing at the White House, at the press secretary's podium. And they'd be like, and they would point to it, be like, this proves that he's actually a secret government site. I was like, y'all are idiots. But in reality, the part that was the most upsetting about that was that one guy made the first video and then a series of people stole that guy's video word for word, bar for bar.
That wasn't upsetting. It was funny.
It was so goddamn funny. And it's happened a few times. Now, one thing that happens with TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all of them is that once a video does well, it starts to put it back into the ecosphere. Mm-hmm. So now it's going to be one of those things where, listen, you scroll deep enough on any of the comments, they're going to be calling me all sorts of random shit down there now. But I'm going to guarantee you one thing, which is after election day, they won't say anything. Yeah. Because a lot of the people who I blocked or just kind of ignored, I've gone back to go look at these people who are doing the comments. Their accounts don't exist anymore.
Yeah, they're
because
bots.
It was a botnet attack among a bunch of different people pushing this up. And what was very funny was when I was at VidCon at the TikTok party, I saw one of the motherfuckers who was posting fucking videos about me. And let me tell you something. When you meet a motherfucker who's posting videos about you online talking mad shit, they're real nice to you in person.
Yeah.
They're real nice to you in person. They are suddenly not so heated. It's almost as if when they're not yelling at their own reflection into their phone, that they realize we're all just flesh and blood people who are trying to get through the fucking day. Did it affect my mental health? Yes, greatly. It was a thing I always expected, but not to the vitriol and the level that I got. It's very odd when you're doing one thing and then have a series of people show up and say you're doing another. Or to question why you are, like now, like everything I post online, unless it says paid advertisement, that's my opinion. That's 100% my opinion. The podcast, all these different things. Everything here, these are our opinions when we post them. And having certain people come out and be like, oh, this was clearly this, or he said this because of this. It all started because we were making fun of RFK Jr. having a brain worm.
Which he admitted to in court documents.
Yes, which this is not. We didn't make that up.
It wasn't like I made it. We didn't.
Yeah. What they got mad about was that we made a very popular video about it. The RFK people who were very upset at me were hoping that people wouldn't notice that the man with the brain worm stated he had a brain worm and then tweeted, hey, I could have 5 more brain worms. And like... Now he's since...
And he had to admit he had a brainworm because he cheated on his wife 37 times.
Yeah, and he stated in his own divorce documents that he was cognitively impaired.
Because he couldn't pay...
child support.
Child support because of the brainworms.
Yes.
So, again...
Again, this is what he stated.
We were reading the legal documents.
We were making fun of... We made it into a joke because it's funny.
Yeah.
And their immediate reaction was, the only reason he'd be talking about this is if he was a paid shill. And it was like, again, whatever, bro. It's fine. These things, like I said, these things happen. One thing that was very funny also was at VidCon was quite a few people walked up to me and they're like, hey, saw those crazy conspiracy videos about you. I'll be like, yeah. They're like, you made it, bro.
Yeah, that's how you know you made it.
Once they are making up shit about you, you're here. And so, yeah, it's going to be, whatever. The biggest thing and the hardest thing, honestly, was as it was happening, was right as we were beginning to gear up the tour. And so I didn't want to have people, because I was getting crazy messages from people. That's why I turned off my DMs.
That's the part that like upsets me the most, which is why that dude was lucky that I wasn't at fucking VidCon.
Yeah.
Because the things that, it's one thing when the comments are like, you're a Fed, you're a plant. But the emails and the messages that we have to block and the things that we see that aren't shown are horrendous and terrifying.
Yeah.
And for that dude to put my family at risk to try to clout chase for a man with brainworms on site.
But it wasn't even just a clout chase. It was also for monetization.
I know.
That's the thing. It's like by talking shit on me, those dudes were able to pay rent.
Yeah.
That's actually that's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling of knowing that now me, just some dad outside of Philly, sitting here, if you talk enough shit, you might be able to pay your rent.
Yeah.
Like that's a weird feeling for me. But the other thing is I was gearing up for the tour. I was just about to leave. And I was that week when all these videos dropped was the week I wouldn't start posting and be like, hey, I'm going to be at Portland, Oregon, or I'm going to be in Buffalo, New York, or I'm going to be in Austin, Texas on July 11th, or San Diego on July 21st, or Atlantic City, New Jersey. But it was also one of those things where, when you're getting emails from people being like, the blood of the tree of traitors need to be fed by the blood of your enemies, like type of weird shit. I don't want to be like, hey, I'm going to be at Austin, Texas on July 11th, stepping on the stage at Cap City Comedy at 8 p.m. Like I didn't want to put those two things together. That was the biggest thing, honestly. And again, I'm not. This has happened to friends of mine. This has happened to multiple people I know. This has happened to friends of mine who are nowhere near as popular as I have. We have friends of ours who were targeted by libs of TikTok who nearly lost their job.
Yeah.
This has happened to friends of ours who are trans, who are gay, who are don't have the same skin tone as me, just because they also want to use the internet. And some psychopaths on Twitter have decided to take them out of context. So when this stuff happened, I'm like, there it is. We always knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when, and we'll see. It's going to happen again.
No,
that's the thing. I know, but that's the part. That's just the thing. Is like if we don't want it to happen again, then we have to, move to Portugal.
Okay, I don't want to move to Portugal.
I don't want to move to Portugal either.
I would like to move somewhere cool.
Okay.
No, Portugal is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say Lisbon's a very cool city from what I've heard.
Okay. Next question.
Yeah.
If you had to do a 10-part podcast on just one niche topic, what topic would you choose and why?
Okay, so I had to think about this one because you did ask me the question ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna answer actually a lot of other questions, so you can go ahead and strike them.
Okay.
Because the answer is gonna be Warhammer 40,000.
Okay.
Now, this is what I would do a 10-part episode about.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying I would, because there are other podcasts that already do this, where they take Warhammer 40K and they explain it to somebody who doesn't understand it. And if you like that type of thing, Adeptus Ridiculous is one of them, but there's a bunch of others. But in this case, there are multiple factions inside of Warhammer 40K, starting off with the Imperium of Man. That is run by an eternal god emperor who is a corpse that sits upon a golden throne that is having 10,000, I think it's 10,000 psychic sacrifice to it today to keep the Astronomicon still open, so that way space travel can happen through the warp.
You're just saying things.
He created 20 legions of Space Marines. The Space Marines are filled with gene seed. It used to be called gene sperm, but then they wanted to make it more palatable to a larger audience, so it's called gene seed. Basically, they steal prepubescent boys and they fill them with this stuff, and that turns them slowly into super soldiers. They are partnered to the side with the Imperial Guard, who are just normal soldiers that live in a nightmare world, who also listen often to both the Sisters of Battle and the Inquisition, which are more like Catholics. So you'd probably like those.
Sisters of Battle?
Yeah, they're like nuns nuns with guns. So then you get to the other side of things. So then you get aliens in there.
Right.
But before I get to the aliens, actually, one of the things that the Imperial Man is often fighting are chaos. So there's a split, a schism, if you will, that happened between the 18 remaining Space Marine legions, where half of them tried to turn against the Emperor because they fell to the gods of chaos. The Emperor, mind you, by the way, stated that gods aren't real and he's actually an atheist, and that used to be the imperial truth. But now to keep the Imperium together, even though he is no longer able to do anything himself, they created a god sphere around him. So all the psychic stuff is aimed at him, so that way he can keep his psychic powers. But he's been battling the 4 gods of chaos. Those
so
4
then gods are real because he has to battle them.
Yes, they are real, but he tells everyone they aren't. But then he himself is treated as a god, which actually upsets him in the long run. Anyway, the 4 gods of chaos, the 4th one, Slanesh, is a sex god, which was created by the Eldar. The Eldar are space elves. There's 2 different types of them. They're the Craft World Eldar, and then there's the Dark Eldar. They're now called the Aldari or the Drukari, but those are different names that are made up because the same thing with the Space Marines. The Games Workshop, who actually owns this entire corporation and owns all these different things, there's certain names that they wanted to trademark, and like Space Marines was already taken, Eldar was already taken, so they ended up like changing and dispelling and things like that slowly over time. So the Craft World Eldar, they are the baseline Eldar who actually fucked so much that they created a sex demon that had destroyed their entire race and culture.
Golgothan of Cum?
Yeah, basically, yes.
Nice,
and then the other half of them are called the Drukari. They didn't stop doing like the knife fucking from the movie 7. Like that's really what they're into, okay? So after that, you get the orcs. Now, I love the orcs. These are not the orcs from Lord of the Rings. These are more of these weird fungus monsters who just like to get crumping, and they are awesome.
The dance moves?
No, it's like just really fight. They yell wog a lot. And so they are low-level psychics, and if enough of them get together, their psychic powers actually expand to the point that they cannot keep going. Yes, 100%. After that, there's the Tyranids. The Tyranids are space cockroaches.
Ew.
Yeah. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. After that is then the Necrons. The Necrons are ancient Egyptian space skeletons is the best way to kind of put them. So they're these like super ancient dudes who are basically just big old robo skeletons that live underneath ancient pyramids that were asleep for a very long time, and then people keep accidentally waking them up and they get really mad. When they first showed up, I wasn't super into them because they were barely brand new and there weren't a lot of models, but now there's been like a lot of really cool stories about them, and some people really like them, and so a lot of times people will yell about Necron supremacy, but in reality, like, they just capture their own gods called the Catan, and they put them in like Pokeballs.
I played Catan once.
No, it's a totally different game.
Oh, okay.
Then there's the Tau. The Tau are basically just like weebs in space. They are not good at hand-to-hand combat, except for one dude in their army who is good at hand-to-hand combat. For the most part, they're mostly used like drones, but they're also called like space communists, and they were originally created to give the Warhammer armies like a group of good guys, but then slowly they like did the Warhammer thing where they're actually not that great.
Yeah.
And then lastly, there's the Leagues of Votan. They used to be called the Squats. They're basically just space dwarves.
Okay.
So that's what I would do a 10-part series on.
The only thing I retained from that was nuns with guns.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I figured that's what you would.
If I was going to do a 10-part series, it would be very similar to everything you just said. So all of that. Everything you just said.
Okay.
Is very similar to covering the topic of Trisha Paytas.
I mean, both have cockroaches and orcs. I think a 10-part Trisha Paytas series.
It would take 10 parts.
You know what? That would be
10 parts.
That would be your version of the Cheesecake Factory for Keith Eats.
Yes.
When Keith eats the menu.
Yeah, Keith eats the menu at the Cheesecake
By the
Factory.
way, I got to meet Keith from the Try Guides. Super nice. And I did inform him that when we can't take Sesame Street anymore because we've been listening too much, we put on a Keith Eats.
Yeah.
Because the baby likes to watch his
loves
face.
Keith.
And he was like, "You're not the first person to tell me that." And I was like, "I know I'm not, but I wanted to add to the thing."
All right, next, speaking of the baby, next question says, any Pearl baby parenting tips? Stay off of Instagram. That's full of weird shit that is so strange and takes you down weird voids about parenting. I would say that if I was going to give out a parenting tip, because I don't really feel comfortable doing it, it would actually be about the books that we get for your mom.
Yeah.
So we have a strong stance we've had since, we found out we're pregnant, which is no baby on the internet.
Yep. No pictures.
No pictures.
No name.
Nobody's allowed to share any pictures. So that was, a hard conversation to have with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so
because of Facebook, Instagram, all those different
people,
things.
Yeah, they want to share pictures like that. So What we did is got a subscription to this company called Chatbooks.
Yep.
And this is not an ad, and I wish it was, because they should
Yep.
pay me for how much I like this company.
And how much you've pushed them on our friends and family.
Everyone that I've shown one to has immediately subscribed.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a app that you download on your phone. And every month you pull all the pictures, in our case, of the baby, and put it into a little book. And then they ship me the book.
Yep.
And I give it to Magistra.
Yep.
And so I did the 12-month subscription. So since his first month being alive,
Yep.
every single month she gets a new book, and it's small enough to fit in her purse. So every month she takes it to church and shows it to all of her friends, and she doesn't have to open her phone and try to find the picture through the other things that are going on in her phone. It's a hard book, and then she has a whole collection of them. They're all the same size
Yep.
in her favorite color. So they sit up on the shelf, and it's, 12 months. And they're so cute.
And the other thing I really like about this is that it actually forces us to go back a month.
Yeah.
So like typically we just did the May book, we did that, or excuse me, the June book.
No, May.
May, that's right, we're about to do the June book.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna go look at all the pictures from June.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, like for May, it was like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's when he started eating foods.
Yeah.
Oh, look at him here. And looking at a picture, like when you have him sitting on your lap and you're looking at him, every day he gets, a little bit different, a little bit bigger, his head shape's different. And then you go look at a picture of him from like 6 weeks ago and you're like, oh, we've covered a lot. We've grown a lot of baby.
We got a lot of baby out here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that if you wanted to think of a really cool gift, if you want to save pictures outside of your phone, that's my parenting tip. Is Chatbooks is really good.
It's also the other thing too is that the Magistra's friends have said they enjoyed them because they're not looking at her phone.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when people want to show pictures, they hold their phone up and they're like, oh wait, no, not that one, and they're swipe,
or it closes and you gotta put the password in.
Yeah, or you gotta do all this different stuff as you're passing it around. So this way she just has a book. Everyone knows how to turn a page.
Yeah.
For me, my biggest parenting tip is don't go to California for 6 days.
Yeah. Okay. I can see how that could be one
yeah.
of your tips. A
Yeah.
life lesson learned.
Yeah,
Really.
because I came back to almost a completely different baby. It's wild how much he changed and grew. Like, I mean, he's similar.
Yeah.
But there's all these small things of like, he goes to bed slightly different. He eats slightly different. The attention is slightly different. Like his different. I feel like I missed so much in those 6 days, and it is a knife pain that I will take a very long time for me to get rid of.
Yeah.
So that's
Psychic
my
damage.
get chat books and don't abandon your boy.
For VidCon.
Yeah.
I hope Dancing with Quasi was worth it.
It was.
I know, he was so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question actually has to do with Magistra. Okay, what is the most embarrassing Roman fact that Magistra has shared? Has she ever explained penile fibula in public while looking at statues? I just imagine she can't help but express her vast Roman knowledge without a filter.
So you already nailed it on that. So one of my mom's favorite stories is to talk about the time when she went to Pompeii, and the tour guide kept telling everyone to follow the penis down the road.
Okay.
Because in Pompeii was a port town.
Yeah.
And so people from all over the empire or all over the Roman Republic, all those different times, there's people from all over the place, and not all of them spoke Latin. But oftentimes the sailors wanted to get to the brothel.
Yeah.
And so the best ways to point everybody to the red light district was to follow the penis down the road.
Yeah.
And so that's what this guy did is he walked them through. He's like, we followed a penis down the road. And he's just pointing them down. He's like, you followed it, and here you go. And then she would describe the Roman bordello.
Yeah.
And he's like, again, they don't speak English. And again, this is my mom telling me all this. And also my friends this, and also like random teachers and like random people at like, concerts and shit like that. They're like, yeah, you don't speak Latin, right? So you go there and it's like the same way when you go to McDonald's, right? There's a guy who speaks Spanish. He doesn't know anything, but he'll point up and go, oh yeah, give me a number 2. And that was what they would do. They point up and they'd have like a picture of a blonde lady and a red-haired lady and a brunette.
It's me at a faux restaurant?
Yeah, no, legit. Yeah, I want a number 18. A number 18 is like a sloppy toppy with a twist.
No.
You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, but that's basically
I just
what...
want a Vietnamese iced coffee.
That is the, for some reason, that is the thing that my mom would just haymaker me with.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
my sister and everybody else. And we just had to be over there and be like, she's not saying anything that's inaccurate.
Yeah.
It's just uncouth.
I will say that Magistra is literally the most elite person to go to the flower show with.
Yes.
Because all of the names are in Latin.
Yeah.
And she will tell you every single flower, what it means, where the word originates from. And a lot of them do have to do with sexual stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I usually just go with her alone, and I don't get embarrassed by that kind of stuff. So
no, it's fine. Like now I don't give a shit. But when I was younger, when I was like 13, oh my God. The other thing my mom likes to do a lot is when we used to travel, like we went to England a couple times, and she loved to hang out in the cemeteries because all the headstones and the tombs are all written in Latin. So she would sit there and like read them to me. And I just remember this one tomb where there was this lady, she has her foot on a skull and her head's like resting, and it said, and her eyes are closed. It said, "She is not dead, she is only resting."
Yeah.
And I just remember, and then she like read like the story of like how this was some rich lady's husband built this whole thing, and like he couldn't wait till he died so he could be buried next to her.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cute.
That's nice.
That's nice.
I'm trying to think of like how my parents embarrassed me. My dad, when I used to walk to school. I think I started walking to school every day in like 7th grade, maybe. I don't know. But so my cousin and I would walk to school all the time. But before that, I think in the winter time and right before 7th grade, my dad would drive me to school on his way to work. And his favorite thing to do is when he was pulling up to the drop-off zone of school, he would roll down all the windows in the car, even if it's snowing out and freezing, roll down all the windows and then blast the craziest song or like radio commercial. And I'll never forget, do you remember those commercials for Trojan Man? Where it was like, Trojan Man!
Trojan Man!
That. And so he would pull up to school with the windows down and just blast that on the radio while screaming, Trojan Man! Just get out of the car. Everybody's looking at me. I'm like, okay. So I think my dad was purposefully using history to embarrass me.
Yeah.
Your mom was accidentally doing it.
Well, my mom was just going.
Yeah.
Once she gets started, she's the Energizer Bunny. She
Yeah.
just keeps going and
Yeah.
going and going. But yeah, that's it. What's the next question?
Next question says, when is Mrs. P going to drop her pumpkin cheesecake recipe? Well, listen to me.
You've been waiting for this
Listen
question.
to me. No, not I only recently. So last episode, I was talking about those little church cookbooks, and I started doing research on it after I got a lot of positive feedback from people being like, "Yo, that would be incredible." And I looked it up, and so now I'm like, I might have to do this. So now I'm doing some research. I'm getting some ducks in a row.
Yeah.
And I think that the recipes might come out in a little church book, a little thing. I just have to get some more stuff organized. I have to feel it all the way out. But I think it's gonna work
while
out.
raising our child.
Yeah.
There's a lot we have to do all the time. But yeah, it's definitely something that you and I have discussed a few times, and you've shown me some things and some ideas. And that's the other thing you need to know about Mrs. P. She's always out here with ideas.
I have so many ideas.
She has so many ideas. That is not okay.
I need to be on Shark Tank, is what I'm saying.
I know I just rolled my eyes in the camera.
Yeah.
But
you did.
there's a lot of ideas, okay? And all of them are good. It's just a matter of whether or not
I can't get funding.
It's not funding. There is not enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
There is nowhere near enough hours in the day for some of her ideas. Because she never once has said one where I'm like, that won't work. All of them will work. It's just a matter of like, do I really want to spend the next 25 years doing this?
All I'm saying is we can buy a Kmart.
No, stop right there. Don't put it out there or else someone else will steal the idea, okay?
They can have it. Just pay me.
No,
what's it
they
called?
won't.
Dang.
They won't.
Okay. So, last question.
Last question?
Last question.
Oh, wow.
How did y'all meet? What was your Bridgerton level love story? Second part. Will you share a story about your first date?
Okay, so we talked about how we met on the first episode.
Yeah, I put this in here knowing that in the first Q&A episode, we go into our full meet cute. So you have to go back and listen to that. But our first date, I don't think we talked about.
No, I don't think we did either. And so our first date, you picked the place because you had Facebook messaged me. Mm-hmm. And we went back and forth for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you picked a Vietnamese restaurant on Washington Avenue.
Wait, did I message you or did you message me?
You messaged me.
Because of that girl that worked with me?
Yes.
Ah, right.
Yeah, so we had a mutual friend.
Yeah.
Who I had gone on one date with.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, yeah, this isn't us. Like, we're not a good match. But then I met you. And then I think
I was her boss.
You were her boss, and I had messaged her. Was like, "Yo, I heard you know this person. I like her."
Yeah.
And then I think she messaged you, and then
She came into work and was like, this red-haired comedian guy likes you.
But she told you that I wasn't a psycho.
Yeah, that was very
much
important.
like me going to VidCon. It had to be proven that the personality that everybody is attracted
I needed a
or pulled
referral.
to.
I needed a referral.
Yeah. So we met at a Vietnamese restaurant in South Philly on Washington Avenue.
Yeah.
Now I want to just state for the record, at the time I did not have a car. So I was riding my high school bicycle. And I was wearing a white linen suit. I had long hair then. The same way I have long hair now, but it was like the first time. And I'd cut it for a very long time. I didn't grow it back out till the pandemic. But I had very, very long hair and my big beard. And I was wearing aviator sunglasses because I had my contacts in. I kind of looked like John Lennon's drug dealer is the best way to put it. So I showed up on this bicycle because I knew that she was into bicycles and stuff like that. 'Cause she was a hipster. And she was on a fixed gear bicycle. And I was on like a mountain bike.
We call them Deweys.
Yeah, DUI
if you see
bicycles.
somebody's driving or riding a mountain bike in the city, that's usually because they have a DUI.
Yeah. And mine was just because my car had died.
Yeah.
The car I had at the time had died. And then we sat at a Vietnamese restaurant for a couple hours. You insulted me repeatedly.
Yep, that's true.
And then we like kind of hit it off. Everything else was good. And then, before you knew it, the date was over, but it was a lunch date, which I highly recommend.
Yeah,
Highly recommend a lunch date because then you still have the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, you're not ruining it. And also, there was no expectations. Like, I was like, it's a lunch date. I'm not going to try to go home with you or any of that stuff.
Okay, we were at Nam Phan in South Philly, and it was delicious. It was his first time having pho or pho. It's correctly pronounced pho. I know.
I had never had Vietnamese food before. That was a big thing.
So he was looking at the menu, and I'll never forget. He tried to order like chicken and rice, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, you know, the exact words were, "You're a pussy," is what you actually said to me.
That sounds right. And then I inevitably bullied him into getting like shrimp pho because I was like,
but the thing is,
when in Rome,
I didn't get it with, I was dry. I didn't get it with broth. I got vermicelli because it said vermicelli.
Yeah.
So I got like thin rice noodles and shrimp.
Yeah.
And then I don't think I even touched the noodles. I think I just ate the shrimp out of the bowl. And I was like, whatever, this is fine. But I didn't care because you were the hottest woman I'd ever seen. You were just the most beautiful woman.
I'm just like,
Oh, yeah. But no, listen, y'all, hold on. I went and had dinner with a friend of mine in California. He moved out there 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Right after you and I first started dating.
Yeah.
And he informed me that when I met Mrs. Pearlmania, I broke the Philly comedy scene. People were so visibly mad that I had the hottest girlfriend in Philadelphia in the stand-up scene, and it made no sense. Like, to the point where, again, rumors and conjecture were flying. When I was talking to this friend, I was like, well, why does that guy hate you? It's because you had a hot girlfriend. And I was like, what do you mean? Because they're like, you're not, it's like, according to all these people, you weren't supposed to have a hot girlfriend, much less marry her, much less have it work. And it just made people so mad. Yeah. And like, I thought it was my personality. No, it was the fact that my face and her made no sense to people, and it drove them up a fucking wall. So yeah. But that was so one of the things that happened is when we started on that date and on the subsequent next couple dates, I just went all out because I was like, there's no way this works. There's no way she stays with me. So I just kind of like, I didn't like say or do what I wanted, but I was like, there's no risk.
Yeah.
Because it's going to end. This is not like carpe diem, motherfucker, because like there's no diem.
Yeah.
There's no tomorrow.
And then now we're over a decade in.
With a baby
wondering when,
and a mortgage. You're going to
when
break up with me soon.
When is this date going to end?
Yeah, never. But that's kind of, I think that's the most succinct way to put it.
Yeah. It was a fun time. We had a really long conversation.
Yeah.
I canceled my plans later that day.
Yep.
Because I was just like, this is fun. I'll hang out with him.
Yeah.
And I think it just speaks to how at the end of the day, making someone laugh and having good conversation is really the most important.
Yeah. If you hadn't been able to hold a conversation, I wouldn't have stayed either.
Yeah.
I'm lying. I would have stayed the entire time. I was a very lonely man at the time.
I know. But yeah, that was the last question.
Okay. Well, you know what? We have a lot of people to thank on this episode.
Perfect.
So we'll go ahead and hit one last bumper. And then when we come back, we will greet our newest team leaders.
Okay.
Pearlmania, 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 Pearlmania.
500.net if you want to join us.
Yeah.
In our team leads.
Let's fucking go, dude.
Oh, I haven't hit this button in a while.
Hey, let's meet our team leaders.
Nice.
And a big shout out as always, to His Name Was Dusk. I did reach out to him and let him know the link in the description. I'm like, that goes nowhere, man. Just to let you know. And he's like, I haven't come up with a new thing to put there. So His Name Was Dusk. If you're listening to this episode, I've already called you. Update that. But like we said and everything else, so you can go down there if you want to join our Patreon, if you want to find out any of our my tour dates, any of those different things. Go check out those show notes. But we have about 15 people we want to welcome to the team this week.
Let's go.
So we're going to go ahead and start off here with Jennifer Wagner.
Hey, hun.
Maybe it's Wagner.
Oh,
you never know.
ooh,
I always go back and forth on that one. Next one, we have Stuck in Koala Canyon.
Hey, hun.
Hey.
Hope you make it out.
I hope you do too. I was stuck in LAX. After that,
I'm not going to let this go.
never. I literally bought an LAX pin to bring home to my son. I was like, this is for the
Like,
baby.
did you buy a pin that just says LAX?
Yes.
Not you were in Los Angeles, but I was at the airport.
I was stuck at LAX. It's a garbage airport.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look nice. Like, I was like, this is LA. Like, at least like have that. Like, it should be a glamorous airport.
No.
It is a shit. Like Philly International looks nicer.
Yeah.
Like physically nicer than LAX.
Crazy.
But that being said, every other airport's better than Philly International.
Yeah.
Like, fuck me, dude. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Jesus Christ.
After that, I have I_have_no_memory_of_9_11__.
Hey, good for you.
Yeah, that's good. You know what? Honestly,
Nice. You
There you
know,
go.
I could take it two ways. One, you're too young to have experienced it. That's nice.
yeah.
Number two,
You're the
maybe you blocked
president.
it out. Well,
Whoop.
wow. Jesus Christ. What was the
Yeah.
next one?
Yeah, old people be olden. All right. After that, we have I_here_2_my_2__my__also_hello_.
Wow. You know,
They're really
a commitment.
That was good.
That was good. Hey, hon.
Hey, after that we have Pookie Wookie Dookie Wookie Pookie.
Wait, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. Could you say that one more
Sure,
time?
it's Pookie Wookie Dookie Pookie Pookie.
Hey, hon.
Hey, hon, how are you?
Hey, Pookie.
Hey, Pookie. I met that guy.
You met that guy?
Yeah, you know
Oh,
the guy on
sent me a
TikTok.
picture of him. I remember
The guy
that.
on TikTok was like Pookie. Hey, Pookie. That
Yeah.
guy. I met him.
Well, there's the other Pookie.
Yeah, no, fuck that
the
guy.
couple.
No, fuck that
You don't
couple.
like that guy?
Do you know what they do?
No.
Medical private equity.
Shut the fuck up.
That's why he can take Pookie out.
Medical private equity?
Yeah, so he owns a private equity company that's been buying up medical facilities
Jesus
and
Christ.
extracting equity from them. So the reason she can look so nice and whatever, like, is because he is bilking the system
Yeah, and
completely legally.
destroying lives.
Yeah.
Cool.
But the other guy who sits in his car is like Pookie.
Yeah, that guy's cool.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. I can never remember his name. But he was very, very nice.
Yeah.
And when I met him, I was like, dude, certain parts of the internet are going to be blown away by this. And he was like, I don't understand what that means. I was like, me neither.
Yeah.
All right. After that, we have Pan with no plan.
Hey, hon. A pan with no plan. Oh, man. If you got a pan, we got to have plans.
Yeah, that's true.
Is it a cast iron pan? What are we making? Frying pan? What are we doing?
Well, you know what they need?
What?
They need a little church cookbook to get you through the day. After that, we have fellow_fridge_meat_mallet_de-icer.
Bro, Samsung's in the house. Samsung's in the house.
Yo.
We just had to do it the other day.
And I woke up the baby.
I know.
It was such a nightmare. It
Listen.
was the baby was finally down for a nap. I was like, I'm gonna finally make myself some lunch. I opened up the bottom and I couldn't close it. And I'm like, the only way out of this is to smash ice with a hammer. And the good news was I was in a mood. So the good news was I was already in a mood. And I will give the freezer ice that is that I'm always in the right mood to do it.
It knows the day.
After that, we have rice_beans.
Okay, that's okay. You have to tell people it's spelled
It's spelled
rice
Rizan,
Yeah.
from the Akatar.
Akatar, rice and beans is pretty
Yeah.
funny. Hey, hun.
After that, we have Augie Loves Penny.
Hey, hun.
After that, we have Jarrett Bond.
Hey, hun.
After that, we have Cataloging Librarian Who Rocks with Wikipedia.
Okay.
I like that.
Let's go.
You know what? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because honestly, like a lot of people talk mad shit on Wikipedia, and I'm like, it's just the same as everywhere else.
Yeah.
You can print books right now full of lies all over Amazon.
Yeah.
And you can get them out there. So like Wikipedia, at least there's like a trail you can follow. Honestly, we should NFT Wikipedia.
Okay, we should not do that.
No, I'm joking. That was a joke.
Private equity Wikipedia.
After that, fuck you. That made me so mad. Oh, you just hurt my soul. After that, we have Hannah Banana.
Hey, Hannah Banana.
And they use a banana emoji.
I like that.
And it actually translated all the way to this Google Doc, which is amazing.
I love that.
After that, we have Daniel Strop.
Hey, hon.
Or Danielle Strop.
Danielle, that's two L's.
That's Danielle. Thank you, Danielle Strop. My
Yeah.
apologies. After that, we have Brent Dahl.
Hey, hon.
And finally, we have take_my_money_so_no_more_better_help_ads.
Let's fucking go, dude. Fuck BetterHelp for life.
Faux life. I did actually talk to quite a few people actually about BetterHelp ads.
Oh, really?
When I was at VidCon.
Oh, at
and stuff
VidCon,
yeah. It was very funny.
Yeah.
It was very funny. But I'm not gonna say anything here, so then you can't send me a cease and desist. BetterHelp. It was a private conversation. That
Opinions only.
Opinions only.
Allegedly.
For those of you who made it all the way here to the end, what was going to be the secret word this week, Mrs. P?
Oh, I'm trying to think. What? I don't know. What should I? We covered so many topics.
I know. You should be prepared with something.
How was I supposed to know? Oh, I know. Nuns with guns.
Nuns with guns?
Yeah.
That is the secret. Comment nuns with guns if you made it all the way to the end of the episode. Guys, have yourself a great week. Hope you had a good 4th of July. And
sorry this is late.
Yeah, we're sorry. We're so sorry.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.